I'm going to show you how to create your first animated candlestick using ChartAnimator. So the first thing you do is come into the editor. Once you're in the editor, there's a bunch of different selection choices that you'll have. I'm going to just give you a basic rundown of all the different options and how this works. So you can see at the top here, we've got our chart builder panel. This will show you all the different chart builders that exist. We've got the single builder, the group builder, the zoom drill, the zigzag, the GBN, and the pattern builder. Now these three are advanced elite tools. These two are for pro features, and the single builder is the free tool. And that's what I'm going to show you today how to use. So what you want to do is click on single builder and click add to chart. And what it's going to do is going to add the candle to your chart. Since this video is all about animating candles, I'm going to focus specifically on that. Once you add it to your chart, you can see we've got candle style settings here. We can alter the height of the candle, the width of the candle, if you want it smaller, the gap, but this will only apply if you add more than one candle. Then we've got the width of the candle, and then you've got the rotation of the candle as well if you want to rotate it. So we've got one candle on here. You can see over here we get this little preview window. So this preview window lets you design the layout of the candle before you add it to the chart. And you can also alter it. So because we've selected it, we can alter it, and whatever we do here, it's going to alter it on the canvas. But you don't have to change. You don't have to edit the open, the close, the high, and the low. In this panel, you can also come onto the canvas and you can edit the high, and you can edit the close, the open, the low, and the high individually. So you can basically shape this candle exactly how you want to shape it. If you look over here under this candle section, it's going to show you there's one candle, which means there's only one candle within this specific grid. If we want to add another candle, we click add to layer, and now you can see we've got two candles. So we've got two candles within the same grid, and we can still alter them how we want. Whatever candle style effects we make now with two will alter both of them. So it maintains the consistency of the size, and so you can create candles exactly the way that you want. We've also got the glow setting over here. You can turn it on and off. If you want a nice glow, it looks quite nice, or you can turn it off if you don't want the glow at all. If we want to delete the whole card, we just click delete and it'll delete both of them. And then you can just add one onto the chart again. If you lift up the timeline panel, you can see here this layer is designed for this specific overlay. If you wanted to play for longer, you can choose. This will play for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So now if I click play, it will show this layer for those 10 seconds. And if time goes over those 10 seconds, it will stop showing that specific layer. You'll see here, if I move it over there, it's gone. If I move it back, it shows it. So this way we can coordinate the timeline layers if we have more than one layer. And you'll see when you watch the rest of the Academy videos, it's going to go into more detail on how to use that. Then if we come further down over here, we've got the global candle colors, which is basically if whatever color we select for bullish, it's going to select for bullish. Whatever we select for bearish is going to be for bearish. And I'll show you how that comes into play. So if we add a second one on, you can see now we've got two, and it's on the same card. It's within the same card. If we want to change the width, we do that. The gap, maybe I want them a little bit closer. But you'll see now what happens is if I take the close and I bring it below the open, it changes color automatically. So this is automatically going to customize whether it's going to be bearish or bullish based on the position of the open and the close. If the close is above, it's going to be bullish. If the close is below, it's going to be bearish. So that is how we can identify. And then over here, whatever bearish is set to, that's the color it will turn when it shifts bearish. And whatever bullish is set to, that's the color it will be within the bullish environment. Then we've got our reveal animation. So now we can animate these out. So what I'll do is I'll click this button over here. This resets the playhead to the start. And you can see if I click the other one, it resets it to the end of the specific layer. And then play obviously plays it. So now that I've turned on the reveal animation, you have multiple different styles to pick from. We've got the auto, the real, the market, the live. And they've all got a little bit of a different way of animating. You can test them out and see which ones you like. So right now this is auto, and you can see that's how auto animates. If we go to real, this is how real animates. If we go to market, this is how market animates. And then if we go to live, this is how live animates. Gives a bit more of a realistic movement. And then we can choose our easing. If you wanted to ease in faster or slower, this determines those kinds of things. So you can play around with these settings and find the ones that you really like the most. And then when it comes to speed, if we wanted to animate slower, we just slow down the speed. And then we animate, and you'll see it slowly. There we go. If we want it even slower, we make it slower. So we can choose if we want it fast, if we want it slow. When you've got a lot of candles on the chart, you do want it a bit faster, otherwise it can take quite long. But once again, it all depends on what kind of animation you're making. If it's for YouTube, if it's for content creation, if it's for trading tutorials, all based on your audience and the pace that you like to move when you teach and display what's going to be happening in the animation. If we add a third, it'll add a third. If we add a fourth, it'll add a fourth. And then obviously when you're adding your charts, it's good to turn off the animation because sometimes you can't see if it's set in the mid of the animation. So turn the animation setting off, get your candles aligned. So you can see now if I want to bring that up, I can bring it up. So depending, you can have higher time frame candles with the big candles, then lower time frame candles, then you can make smaller candles. Also, if you want to delete, you click on it, push delete, and it will delete all of them. Otherwise, if I Control Z to bring them back, if I just want to delete 2 or 3, I can come up over here to the card and I can just delete, say I just want to delete those. So then if I want to add a new layer of candles, I must deselect this layer I'm on. Can you see it selected? If I click off of it, it deselects it. Then I can add another candle layer. And then you can see on the chart we've got 2 layers. So now we've got the higher time frame. I want to turn the second one into the lower time frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it much smaller. A much smaller candle, reduce the wick size. So now it looks like a lower time frame candle. And then I can build onto it. You can see, build onto it, build onto it. So if this was the high of the range, and then I wanted a lower time frame to tapping into that range, this is exactly what I would do. And I'm going to show you one of the tools, which isn't supposed to be in this training, but I'm just going to use it for reference. So this was the high of the range over here. And then all I want to do is click on these lower time frame layer, come down to animation. I like to use live, and then you can see that'll play out and it'll tap into our line there. So guys, this is the basics on how to create candles. Check out the next video. We're going to dive deeper into the training.